Dear friends, welcome again for this week's video. This one is a direct follow-up from last week's tutorial. And in particular, you may remember that we unboxed the Presonus Revelator io24 audio interface and added together an overview of the characteristics. Today, of course, we're going to turn it on and show you what is the potential of this device, just in a moment. Okay, as mentioned, this week we are gonna check this device and use it. We will connect it to our computer. In particular, I'm gonna show you how to connect it to a Mac, but for Windows there are just a little additional warnings that I will provide during this video. We will turn it on and have a look at the physical interface, what shows what the software to use for mixing and for other already included with the device, installing the driver, and in the end plug in our guitar for recording it in one of the two inputs. So let's start very quickly. So with the connection, you see that the device is currently turned off. Of course, I need to connect it using the backside USB-C port, and I'm doing it with this cable I have prepared coming from my USB hub. So I just need to plug it in and the machine will immediately turn on. So give me just a second to place it on the stand so I can guide you better in what we are doing. You see that the interface has turned on. The display should be visible, I hope so. In any case, have a look. There are two indicators on the right hand side with some dots on the upper side, and we will have a look at them. These are indicators for the two input channels, and in particular they show the level of the channels. By the way, one important thing, it is possible to combine the two channels to get a stereo input, and in that case these indicators become connected. Then on the other side you see the stereo output left and right with the power in dBs. Of course, on top of both, there are on both sides, input and output, there are some black strips that shows you when we are clipping. So this makes it very easy to set the levels in a good way. Of course, with the software that's easier, but this is not bad in any case. We have the encoder that becomes aligned like this, so you can see also in the dark. By the way, probably it's visible if I see if I cover the light, you see that everything is backlighted, all the buttons are backlighted. That is, in my opinion, very good because honestly speaking, it is quite often in studio or, well, for example, by playing, because you can use it also for streaming during your video games. It's used for, it's normal to have, to have been working in a dark room, so having the visibility that is, by the way, quite soft, so it's not annoying. To see in the dark what you're doing is not a bad idea. Well, of course, we have also the different buttons we have mentioned before, but I'm gonna go in the detail later. For the moment, I would like to show you another step that is in particular how to install the driver for the device. So I'm I'm showing you my screen. We will keep the Revelator in our corner. Nevertheless, I will hide it now and then if there are troubles. In any case, I will be showing you how to do it on my Mac. For Windows, the process is equally straightforward. In particular, because you may know that any USB audio interface generally speaking, in Mac OS is recognized immediately. because there some drivers, some basic drivers are already included. For Windows, normally you need to install ASIO ASIO drivers that are used to recognize the USB audio interfaces. In here, you don't need to install them as separate programs and separate drivers because they are provided directly within the single software you need to download. So you can go to the Presonus website. Oh, by the way, if you purchase the device inside, you will find a connection to that and instruction on how to do it, but it's very simple. You just need, you see the usual advertising about the Presonus Studio One, the DAW. That, by the way, in the artist version, that is, of course, a basic version, is available for free if you purchase the Revelator. And then there are some details. If you go into the page related to Revelator series, it is also possible to have a look at the features that what we have seen recently. And of course, you can install also the software you require. So the software we are looking for, if we look in the menu on top of the website at the page software, is under control software, and it is named Universal Control. You just need to install that for this device as well, because the software includes also the drivers. It is also mentioned here, if you have a look, universal control, driver support, software control, monitor mixing, and firmware management for Presonus hardware. So for all these devices, you just need to install this software and you have everything you are expecting. If you scroll down in the page, you will find the downloads available. You need, there is not an efficient recognition, automatic recognition of your operating system, so you will need to select it from the drop down. You see that, for example, for macOS, the last version mentioned is macOS 13 Ventura. I'm already in macOS 14, but in any case, it is working like that. So just take the closest one. Generally, a version for a previous release of the system should work. It's not mandatory, but in this particular case, I can guarantee that the version for Ventura is working for macOS 14 as well. If you download it, you see that the icon can change. If you have Windows, of course, select your version, like for example Windows 11. You see that the icon has changed to Windows, and you just need to download your version. So you just click on the download. And for installing it, of course, it's it's as easy as ever. You just need to click on it and install it according to the activities. So let me check what happened. Okay, and for Mac, I just need to draw it to press. You see that we find both the software packaging and also the uninstaller. Uh, I wanted to show this because as this software includes also some drivers, it is installing some details, some parts of software in different places on your computer. So it is better, if you want a good cleanup in case you want to uninstall it, to use this uninstaller. Because, for example, for Mac, if you just delete the app, you are canceling the app, but not the corollary software that remains in your system and can sometimes produce unexpected outcomes. So my suggestion is to use this one if you want to uninstall. Keep that in mind. Of course, for the installation is as straightforward and as usual. You just need to press continue on all the steps and provide your password when needed, because it is installed as a system software that each user will be able to use. But it is more interesting, in my opinion, to turn it on to show you why it is working. So I already installed it, so I just launching Universal Control, and the software should show up. Okay, it is here. That's fine. You see, you will be welcomed by a screen like this. Let me see if I can resize it so you can read it better, but the icons are not changing, so the size is the same. Here, by the way, these things are perfectly described on the website, so take a look at the knowledge base by Presonus if you want details about this. I would like to skip this part not to bore you. Okay, you will be able to select the sample rate. By the way, one notice, you see that here I can select only 44.1 or 48 kilohertz. You may remember that one of the specifications of the system of the machine was that it has preamps that can or better, analogic digital converters that can sample at 96 kilohertz. That's true, but there is a little trick. You see that clock source internal for this. This one is the clock source for MIDI. If you have other devices connected, you will be able to select also this part. Not topic for this for today. There is a device mode that is this one is only available for Mac, not in Windows. In Windows there is another little difference, but in the end what it is possible to do is exactly the same. In particular, for Mac, it is possible to select between single and multi-mode. If you select multi-mode, by the way, that is the natural, the how it is meant to be played, in simple words, the configuration of the system, but has the limitation that you can only select at the max 48 kilohertz. If you want to sample at 96, you will need to select single. What is the most evident difference if you select one of these or the other? If you select the multi-mode, what happens is that the system, let me show you, will see, and you can see that from here, but let me open the sound settings so probably it's easier. The system, the Revelator will be seen as three different audio interfaces provided of both input and output. And each one of those will have two input and two outputs. So in simple words, the first one, you see that it has the plain name Revelator io24, is the hardware version. Revelator io24 Stream Mix A and Stream Mix B are two other virtual audio cards with two inputs and two outputs, exactly as the physical machine that can be used by the system. And the good way, the good option here is that they can be combined. The fantastic thing is, what is the purpose of having these virtual cards? Is that you can use them as input or output for your applications, and then look at them in the general mixer for the card. That is something, in my opinion, really interesting. So I know it can look strange, but believe me, in future videos this will become really evident. In any case, to complete the warnings, the description, in multi-mode you will see these three streams. By the way, this is the funny part, and that is something that is necessary for what I'm going to show you in later tutorials. And frankly speaking, I'm using it only in this modality. If you select instead single mode, what will happen is that you will see a single interface, but that single interface will look like composed by 6 input and 6 outputs. So you're not losing the possibility to have more virtual inputs and virtual outputs, but it will not be so easy to produce a routing of them. These have been created in particular on Mac because if you are a Windows user, you may know that routing is already supported by the system. You just need to activate a monitoring of a virtual machine, of a virtual card, and you will be able to use it and routing it inside one of the others. So it's probably in Windows is not really necessary, but here it is something that we can leverage very very funny. By the way, the look in any case, even in Windows, will seem similar. In the mixer, that well, let me finish to look at. I know that it's not easy now to understand the details here because I was not able to show you this one. Just keep in mind that in multi-mode, it will appear as three different cards, a physical one and two virtual cards. For the system, of course, it is impossible to distinguish them. They are three, like they were three cards connected to the same computer. In multi-mode, one card with six input and six output. This is the main difference. And also, you will have the opportunity to sample at 96 kilohertz. For us, 48 is more than enough. Honestly speaking, according to my experience, especially if you are using the card uh, for um, for showing for recording and for sending something through YouTube for creating your contents, I don't see many possibility to many needs to use an additional extra. I don't know how to say it to provide a more stronger. Let me see. There is something wrong with my audio. Well, I don't know. Okay, there is a. It's very difficult that you need additional sample rate unless in my opinion if you are in a perfect instead if you are in a studio in a perfectly silent room and you want to record for example a violin or something like that, so instruments like that, sometimes even for a classic guitar, well, that additional sampling rate can maybe give you a more detailed sound, but honestly speaking, for my purpose, this is more than enough. So, being said this, I would like to show you the rest of the interface from the software. So let me focus on it. I'm closing it also, the vision of the browser. You see that you will be welcomed by also a picture that recognizes exactly the device when it is connected. If you open universal control and the machine and the card is turned off, simply it will not detect anything. If you add more than one device, it will be possible also to select them. You will find a list. You see that also the firmware is mentioned here because this software is also used for updating the firmware of the machine, the serial number of your card, and the input and output format that you see is as usual two channels input, two channel output at 24 bits. That is the characteristic of the device that we have seen also last week. If I click on the three lines here on top on the right corner, it is possible to have a look at universal control, which is the version. You see that I'm in the version 4.2.0. That is the up to date at the moment of recording of this video. So it is possible in any case to have a look also at the kind of devices that are connected. It is possible to sign out, as I mentioned, to download the software, but in particular the additional softwares like Studio One or so, you need to create an account. I logged in from here, so you can see that for the moment. It is possible to check for updates. So that's why you see that it is always necessary to do it with recording. You see that the current version is up to date, as I said. It is also possible to manage transfers that are not. We will not have a look at them. They are common for combination through the net of cards. It is possible to set some settings, in particular about universal control. So you can keep it always on top, run it at startup, change the language. I'm Italian, Italian is not available, so English is my only choice. There are other preferences. There are some setting folders where you can save data, update the firmware, rescan the network, because this software is also used to connect devices for remote control. We will have a look when we want to control the card on connected to our computer from a smartphone. Well, there are some streaming statistics if you want, and there is another interesting option that is the possibility to launch an OBS setup wizard. You may know that I'm recording all my videos using OBS Studio. Universal Control is integrated with that. To me, on Mac, I had some troubles because it was not so working perfectly. But in any case, if you are doing it, if you're installing it, it will install a plugin within OBS, and it will be possible to select scenes and other configuration of OBS Studio from within the mixer of the machine. That's not the purpose of my video, so I'm skipping it because honestly I don't found this I didn't find this option so helpful. I prefer to have all my contents or my software separated without particular interconnections, but it is an opportunity. Maybe you will find it useful. Okay, now the interesting thing, if I press on the icon of the machine here, I will be welcomed by the real mixer, and that is the main game. Let me small resize it. It can be resized in any with according to your liking, so you can make it smaller, bigger. It is quite responsive in the design, so it's working well in my opinion for this. Let's keep it here on the side and have a look at how it is built. Again, remember that the card is seen as a triple interface. That is here on this side, on the right hand side, is visible as main, stream mix A, and stream mix B. This will prove very helpful, in my opinion, because you see that, by the way, I can select the settings, so the levels of each stream singularly, uh, and I can decide which one I want to monitor. This button that shows the headphone is related to what I'm gonna hear from the headphones connected to the card on the backend side. Now I'm not using it. I'm hearing directly from my headphones, from my USB headphones connected to the computer, but it's working fine to me like this. It is also an option you can have. In particular, if you want, if when I'm playing, for example, I'm monitoring from the headphones, because this way I have a real-time monitoring, and to me playing is easier. I'm quite sensitive to delays, and honestly my limit is small compared to a lot of other friends, because to me 3 milliseconds of delay start to become impacting on my play style. I'm not a fantastic player for sure, not so confident. And probably with some practice I could improve, but for the moment I really don't like having delay. It feels like fake, and I don't. I find myself not too precise in timing and so on. In any case, let's have a look at. For the moment, let's forget the three steps that are three different, like there were three different mixers for three different cards. The incredible thing is that it will be possible to route one inside the other, and you will see that in some future videos. In particular, now I would like to show you some incredible options and some very interesting option. Well, you may see I may look particularly happy with this device, and I am, because I'm comparing the functionalities with its price. And honestly, of course, there is nothing new in here. There's something that I'm going to show you, because there are a lot of cards out there, but manufactured in particular by Universal Audio, if you want, that are fantastic. The Apollo series or so, that have included ESP, as I explained in last week, or other interesting configurations, routings, monitoring possibilities compared to this, but they cost much more than this. That's the incredible thing. This one, in my opinion, is a great bang for the bucks. It may be not enough for your need if you want to get very high level sampling, very fast sampling, 32 bits instead of 24 or something like that. But of course, in that case, you need to spend much more. And as we said also last week, I'm focused on devices that can be affordable for any hobbyist like I am, honestly speaking, for this kind of use. Okay, let's have a look at the input channel first of all. You see are these two, they can be selected. You see that when I switch between one or the other, the top section is changing because what the Presonus named the effect block that is elaborated by the DSP, so that can be attached, can be applied to the inputs, fat channel. Just remember this name. It is possible to turn it on and off, so I can completely turn it off and remove any possible preset or setup. But if I keep it on, you see that I have two different configuration, one for channel 1 and one for channel 2, that are the two channels available here. On the on the left hand corner, sorry, I need to hide this one, otherwise you're not seeing that. Okay, you see that here, close to channel 1, there is a button that shows a chain. This one is used to connect the two channels. If I do it, you see that the input become a single level. It is possible to select the balance because now we have a stereo input, but that of course take the use of both inputs. So if you have a stereo input to connect here, you can do it. You just need to connect the channels, and then you have the possibility to combine them to select some inputs, and this will become in any case a stereo input. So the master level will be combined. You see that graphically they have been combined. So it's like having a physical mixer where the two sliders are being connected together as normally we do with a small bridge. Let's remove this one and keep the inputs separated. You may ask me why should I use two different inputs for a stereo input. For example, I did it to record my pedal board, my guitar pedal board, so that I could record the stereo output that was coming from that machine. If you have a stereo keyboard or anything else, it's up to you. But of course, this will leave you without any other input available, but it's the limit of this device. It has only two inputs. If you need more, you will need to select a different item. Okay, let's return very quickly to the top part because I don't want to waste too much time for you. You see that we have the possibility, let me describe the content from top left to onward. Let me hide this one, this makes confusion. You see that we have a button hotkey that is slap echo. This one is only available for channel 1, in channel 2 is not visible. And this one provides, simply, like it's mentioned, a quick echo that you can activate very quickly pushing it. It's a sort of preset, and it is fantastic if you want to apply it to your voice. If you, I don't have at the moment available an input mic to let you hear, but will be possible in the future. But for gaming, for that, you can hear some examples also on YouTube. It's like I'm telling you, so it will create a sort of echo. Below that, this one is only activatable from here, but it's very easy because it is in a visible place. It becomes really evident, so you know that it is activated. It is used for just small effects, temporary use. Below that, you see that there are two buttons. At the moment, they both mention vocal because I wanted to configure that here. These ones are two presets that are saved within the machine. That is something I started mentioning also last week. You may see, I know it's not easy. Let me try and increase the size from, but it's not possible. Okay, here, on top of the bars for the two channels, there are two lines that can become blue. And if I press preset, they change. They change both on the machine, but you can see that also on the software. So you see that when I press preset, they switch between each other. What is the purpose of this? Of course, you can control it from the software, you can control it from the hardware, but as I spoiled last week, uh, as they are saved within the machine, I could even detach the machine from the computer and just power it, and I did it, honestly, and it will still be possible to apply those two presets saved in the machine and hear from the output the channel with the elaboration applied. So you can have you can elaborate your voice, mic, or even your guitar sound directly from the machine without even connecting the computer. And one of the thing that I would like to show you in the near future is how to do it, for example, for applying effects when you want to record to your smartphone. Or even without that, just a plain external, you could connect this one to a power board, to a USB power board, so that it turns on. Connect your guitar, the output to external powered speakers, and then you can play and apply some effects. It's not a full effect chain, no, no, not nothing particularly strange, but it can be used. In my opinion, it's more useful for microphones, for your voice, than for guitar, but it can be used for both. In any case, the first channel in the manufacturer expectation, and that's why the slap picture is here. The first channel is meant for the microphone, and the second one for your instruments. So this is the basic. According to what you see in the software, it looks like they intended it to be like that. The two presets can be selected here, but they also can be changed because I can select another preset, or I can change the options of these presets and then save them back in the system. But this is not the end. You have other presets available here in this section. You see that if I go here and scroll, I can have broadcast, that is the basics, and this is saved in the first one if that is the selected one. If I select the second one, it is changing the second one, and it is applying it immediately. So it is also always possible to hear it. And if you want just to use the software, you can apply all these presets. You are not limited to two. You can use all of this without problem. All presets can be selected like this. So you have broadcast, vocal, acoustic guitar, sorry, electric guitar, vintage channel, slap echo. It was something mentioned that, as we said, is also selectable with a quick button. Detune vocal that applies some strange effects, or robot that plays like something like that. Again, I don't have the microphone, so I cannot let you hear in detail. There are other better issued tutorials or guides and reviews on YouTube. Have a look at that. I have different purpose with these tutorials, and of course, all these the option for it, and also you have other six empty presets you can configure and rename according to your liking. So you don't really need to be like that. For example, if I go in the second channel, I already saved the first, that is guitar test 1, just to have the other option available. Okay. What can you do here? There is a lot, because you see there is a synthetic view here about the options you can select in the fat channel. The first one is the possibility to activate an high pass filter that can prevent bass rollback, in particular for your voice. If you hear your bass returning and resonating, it's not fantastic. It is a filter that normally is applied automatically by many software for this, because it is common to the option to cut this one, especially if you are using a dynamic microphone close to your mouth. For example, it is you feel that bass that are creating some muddy sound. You can select to cut frequencies below 40 Hz, below 80, or below 160. Interesting thing to note is that this option is also available from the physical interface. If I press the button 1, I go to the options for the first channel, and you may see that there is the bar with the level. Let me keep it because after some seconds it's returning there. And also there are some options like the preset, but also it is possible to see the filter. So if I move, I can apply many of these. For example, I can apply the 40. I hope you see that it turned on, that I applied the high pass filter like this. So I'm returning to the channel, selecting. I can here I can select the level, then I unlight that and I can change it and turn it on and off. By the way, I can also activate the phantom power for the microphone. Okay, so I can change it. The only limitation is that physically I can only select the low pass filter at 80 Hz, that is the most commonly used. If you do it from the software, you can do it, you can select different values that maybe are more helpful for you. Then you can select a noise gate that here is just selectable like low, moderate, and high. A compressor, again, with some even additional presets, low, moderate, height, DS. This one is fantastic in my opinion, because if you're using a dynamic mic, you remove those that are really annoying when recording your voice. Vocal, that is good for singing, in particular electrical bass, acoustic, or electric guitar. This will apply a compressor for those purposes. You can apply some preset the equalizers, a limiter compared for example, this one will prevent clipping that sometimes can be really annoying because it will distort your sound. So sometimes it's good to apply that, maybe in a moderate way. And also there are some voice effects, distortions, left back, pitch down, reflections, many electronics effects that you may like for your voice. It is possible to click on this button here, the one that shows like sliders, to have a better look. You see here we have a real effect chain. That is what we have configured. You see that we have the high pass filter. We can turn it on and off, and we can select the value. Here you can really fine tune it. Instead of selecting 40, 80, or 160, you can really, for example, if you want 50, 79, you can do it. So you can really select a special, you can fine tune this part. You can do the same for the gate. The gate as well, you see that you have also the graphic. You can use it as an expander that generally is better than a usual gate because it cuts better the background noise and it sounds less artificial normally. So you can, by the way, activate it like an auto expander or automatic expander, or select the value where it will attack. So you can select the attack, the release, the filter, a lot of things. You can configure your equalizer in a really detailed version. There are the usual presets we mentioned before, but you can create your own shape with a great step. The limiter, you see that the system is sliding because they are placed one after the other. So you can select what is the high power where the limiter will cut to prevent clipping. You will also have effects for filter that you can select and combine from here. So you can select the one you want, and for each one of these, you can select some specific options. That is true also for all the rest of the blocks. You see that there are some drop downs where I can select, for example, vintage. Look at this in this sexy way, like it was a real system or so. It is also possible, so it is a real chain. It is also possible, you see, to change the order. For example, I wanted to change to switch the equalizer and place it before the compressor. I can press this button and doing it. And you can do the same for a lot of things. So it is always possible also to swap these devices. It is possible to really to move your chain in different ways. That can be maybe something interesting for you as well. And by the way, let me see. Okay, so it is as we said, we can turn on and off any block. You can select your chain whichever you like. Of course, you can do the same for the second channel, the one for guitar, for example. And here you can really select different shapes. You can select different compressor, for example. Instead of the standard, you can use, for example, the tube and have a look at that and select it, a tube compressor that is commonly used, and so on. So it's really helpful because you can fine-tune everything considering your needs and what you are connecting to the device. So in my opinion, this is really great because you can create this kind of preset, find your tone, both for your instrument or your um, voice. Well, of course, it's more common to use it for voice than for instrument because if we want to apply effects to a guitar, normally we are not using this kind of software. We use other software. And in future videos, in particular in the next one, I'm strongly suggesting you to stay tuned. I will show you how to use your guitar with a great plugin, in my opinion, and this is a spoiler. I will provide also an Easter gift because, but I don't want to ruin the surprise for you. In any case, I hope that you have an idea. We haven't seen all the details. In particular, you still don't know what is the purpose, for example, of the sliders: playback, virtual A, virtual B. Reverb is easy because, of course, this one will apply a reverb to the full output, to the full mixer. It's like a master reverb, and you see that also you can apply other effects like the the high pass filter. You can select the size of the reverb, the pre-delay for the reverb, so some options for the reverb that is applied here. And by the way, also on the input, you see that you can change the preamp gain, and you can apply some reverb as well from here, from the channel. I hope you can see that. Let me see when I scroll, it's changing. So you have also these other, the reverb is like a separated effect that you can apply on the input or on the output. There is just one limitation that maybe you will not like so much. In the presets that are saved on the machine, the reverb is not saved. That is also what is written inside the user manual of the machine. But all the other options are saved here, and as we mentioned before, can be used even without the machine. But now I believe that you are a little tired of hearing me speaking about this thing. One thing that you may be interested in is how are we plugging our guitar into the machine. Of course, it's easy. You just need a cable, so it's not difficult. As we said, I would prefer to connect it to the secondary input like this. Oh my god, everything is falling down. Let me have it rest on the. I think that you can have a look nevertheless. So I can take my guitar, plug it in, and everything should be fine. Now what you will see is that when I play, the input channel is going up. Okay? How can we use it here? Okay, we have different options. It is possible to monitor the inputs from here. And by the way, it is possible also to be able to hear my guitar. Let me remove the background music, and now you should be able to hear it. By the way, I can apply some small effects, but of course, what I wanted to see is that the input is now working because the system has been connected like that. By the way, just a little peek, you see that the audio is going to the Stream Mix A. This one, as I told you, these virtual cards, Stream Mix A, Stream Mix B, are used for routing the audio. What you are hearing that is recorded by OBS Studio. So the audio you hear in this video is not what I hear from my headphones because the monitoring is different. Because I'm monitoring the main output, so I have other sources that I can hear and you cannot. Instead, in the Stream Mix A, it is what it is recorded by OBS Studio. So what you hear is this part, okay? So it is always possible, for example, to apply also some effects. So in any case, you really I hope you can feel that there are some small effects applied to the system. I just wanted to let you see how easy it is to connect your guitar to the audio card. In future video, because this is the final result, I wanted to show you with this one. So let me disconnect everything for the moment. But I just would like to conclude this video, this sort of tutorial. Okay, let me resume what we did. We turned on this audio card. We installed the software slash driver. It is all together. If you have other audio cards, you may need to install something different. One important warning, if you are playing everything in Windows, you need to install the AES IO drivers that for this one are included within the software. So installing Universal Control will do everything for you. If you are installing other cards, it will be necessary to download them from the website of the manufacturer and install them unless they are provided inside the package. By the way, you may remember that we used some pedal boards, some modelers also for recording, like NUX device, Mighty devices or so. If you use them in Windows, I know that I'm sure you are familiar with the installation of AS IO drivers, and that is a possibility. If you are on Mac, I strongly suggest to use a multi-mode because you will have three different cards to play with, and you will see later in the future videos how to do that and how to leverage this great opportunity, honestly speaking, because it will be possible to play different your guitar and record all together, or let's have available with just a click the clean sound or the sound just elaborated by the card, and then you can put it inside one plugin, hear it, and in another plugin or in another software, or recording your DAW all together, like you had three different and independent cards connected to your machine. And believe me, this is a great advantage. Of course, this is somehow limited by the power of your computer, and I have to be honest, I'm doing all of this on a Mac Pro, MacBook Pro. So I think that I have quite my computer is not exactly an entry level machine, and you may find some small difficulties doing all this all together in on your if you have maybe a dated PC or a laptop. But of course, I will show you the possibilities you can try. There are some compromises that we can use to fix that one, and we will have a look at that at that see, in the next videos. Well, in future video, well, my future plans, just to let you know, I wanted to follow this video with some details about the routing, as we mentioned before, the use of a smartphone, and the application of some effects. We will do it in future videos. But the next one, make sure you're not losing it because it will be a very, very interesting one. I will show you how to use this one. This one was the basis because we need to connect the input to our computer to do that. Because recently I started using some plugins for guitar to obtain effects in an inexpensive and very flexible way, and I was surprised and how can I say? I was really intrigued by one of these that I would like to show you in the next video. So I will take a little pause in this specific series, but it will be connected because I'm going to show you how to route the the card as we mentioned to use to use that plugin. And you may ask, why showing you now this topic instead of waiting? You will see there is a gift coming up, so stay tuned. Make sure that you are subscribed and ring the bell so you are informed when it comes up, because there is an Easter gift I would like to share with you connected to that specific plugin, and I'm more than happy to provide this possibility. I was given this opportunity by the manufacturers of this, by the developers of that plugin, but I'm not endorsed. My review will be completely honest, and I was completely transparent with them, but they still accepted to give the opportunity. What you will see is that we will give the opportunity to try it out extensively with a little discount. For words, great spoiler. Okay, that's all for today's video. I hope I was able to make it straightforward as I thought, but you see that there are tons of options, so it was difficult to select what to show you and how in depth to show each one. Just remember the basics. You can have the card, you can install the drivers, it is recognized by your system, and then you use the mixer software to select the levels to apply effects if you want, and you can connect your guitar and feel immediately what is the outcome. The rest in the next videos. Again, make sure that you are subscribed. This way, you're not losing any content in the future. Thank you very much for any feedback. If you have comments, critics, or anything that can help me improve the content and the channel, they are more than welcome. You may notice that I'm always replying to any comments, so feel free to tell me everything. If something was really too obscure, I'm more than happy to help you. Clarify that. I can increase, I can maybe create additional follow-up to focus on details that you don't like or you were not able to follow, because I have to be honest, this one is becoming a sort of little complicated topic, because as I said, there are tons of options, and without a specific example, it's not so easy to to follow me. And I understand that many of you may see this one without having the machine, without the possibility to test with your hands what I'm doing. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.